Anjanashalakaya Chakshushuन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So this is a prose order sentence verse. This is chapter, the activities of Maharaja Priyavrata, 5th canto, 1st chapter. Is it here? Iti bhava sa jagati patirishwarechaya adiniveshita karma adhikaro akila akila jagat bandha dhvamsana परानुभावस्य भगवत आदिपुरुषस्यांग्रि युगलानवरत ध्यान अनुभावेन परिरंदित कषायाशयो अवधातोपि मानवर्धनो महतां महीतलं अनुशशास इति. Thus, Havava, indeed, Saha, he, Jagati Pati, the emperor of the whole universe, Ishvara Ichchaya, by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adhiniveshita, completely engaged, Karma Adhikaraha, in material affairs, Akhila Jagat, of the entire universe, Bandha, bondage, Dvamsana, destroying, Para, transcendental, Anubhavasya, whose influence, Bhagavataha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adipurushasya, the original person, Angri, on the lotus feet, Yugala, two, Anavarata, constant, Dhyananubhavena, by meditation, Parirandhita, destroyed, Kashaya, all the dirty things, Ashayaha, in his heart, Avadataha, completely pure, Api, although, Manavardhanaha, just to give honor, Mahatam, to superiors, Mahitalam, the material world, Anushashasa, ruled. Translation purport by His Divine Grace as Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaja Priyavrata fully engaged in worldly affairs. Yet, he always thought of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are the cause of liberation from all material attachment. Although Priyavrata Maharaj was completely freed from all material contamination, he ruled the material world just to honor the orders of his superiors. Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki, the word Manavardhano Mahatam, just to show honor to superiors, are very significant. Although Maharaj Priyavrata was already a liberated person and had no attraction for material things, he engaged himself fully in governmental affairs just to show respect to Lord Brahma. Arjuna had also acted in the same way. Arjuna had no desire to participate in political affairs or the fighting at Kurukshetra. But when ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he executed those duties very nicely. One who always thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly above all the contamination of the material world. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, he is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Maharaj Priyavrata therefore was a liberated person and was among the highest of the yogis. Yet superficially, he became the emperor of the universe in accordance with the order of Lord Brahma. Showing respect to his superior in this way was another of his extraordinary qualifications. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.17.28, Narayana para sarve nakutaschana bhipyati swarga pavarga narakeshvapi tulyartha darshinaha. A devotee who is actually advanced is not afraid of anything, provided he has the opportunity to execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the proper affairs, although he was a liberated person. Also, only because of this principle does the Mahabhagavata, who has nothing to do with the material world, come down to the second platform of devotional service to preach the glories of the Lord all over the world. So the context of the chapter, of this chapter, of activities of Maharaja Priyavrata is like this. Priyavrata was a disciple of the great devotee Narada, and he went to the Gandhamadana Parvat, where under the expert guidance of Narada, he was practicing devotion service very happily. and he was renounced. Mukta Sangha, it is said. Mukta Sangha has two meanings. One is free from attachment to material relationships, which may be degrading us in our spiritual advancement. Like we say, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, six type of uh, materialists. He talks about those who have no faith in God or no faith in morality. One category. Second category, those who have faith in morality but no faith in God. Then there's the third category, those people who have faith in morality and faith in God, but their faith in God is subordinate to faith in morality. They will say, Rama is good, but Krishna is not good, they will say. Rama married one wife, Krishna married 16,000 wives, so not good, they will say. They want to fit God into their morality box. And then there are impersonalists and voidists, that's fourth category. And the fifth category are uh, polytheists, which means they consider different all devatas to be God. They don't know there is one singular supreme. And the last one is dharmadvajis, those who are pretentious religionists. They appear to be religious, but they are cheaters. So one should avoid this type of bad association. One should keep away from this type of materialistic association. So uh, when one is able to stay under the cooling shade of great saint like Narada, such saints like Narada offer the same shade of lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Think about a hot sunny day where the tar road is melting and you are running on the tar road without any sandals, and your impression of your soles of your feet is coming on the tar road. You have seen sometimes, you've seen like that, huh? At that time, if there is a very large banyan tree by the side of the road, so you immediately run to the shade of the tree. So the tree gives you a very cooling shade. The lotus feet of Krishna is compared to that. So he was actually a Mukta Sangha, which means he had become renounced from material attachments. One type of material attachments I told you, six type of, materialists. Another meaning of Mukta Sangha means one who is free from especially lower gunas like Rajaguna and Tamaguna. It's a big relief. If somebody is in Tamaguna, they are dragged and slapped and kicked and punched and buried practically. They have no freedom. A person in Tamaguna is dragged by the lower nature. He is practically helpless. We can see many of the youths when I receive their mails, I see how much they are helplessly tossed by the waves of material energy. Some of them are unable to tolerate it that they even commit suicide. You can see that. Rajaguna, Tamaguna. Rajaguna, many teenage children are struggling with unhealthy comparisons, with lack of competence, lack of ability to prove their competence to others, and also unable to tolerate the criticisms in the front and behind their back, and fear of the future and things like that. So Rajaguna, Tamaguna actually are very painful associations for the conditioned soul. If you connect with Rajaguna, Tamaguna, so one will see that Rajaguna, there is some freedom. Tamaguna, practically there is no freedom. So Mukta Sangha also means you have given up the lower nature. In Sattva-guna, you have Sukham and Jnanam. What Jnanam? You are free from ignorance. You know what is matter, what is spirit. You know I am not the body, I am resident of the body. And I am not the lonely resident of the body, I have a president also in the body. Who is the president? Super soul. I am the resident. So I am not alone. Lord is also with me. And I am seated in this bodily machine. It's a field awarded to me, which I can rightly use. I know how to properly use it. You have the knowledge of how to handle things. See, if you don't know proper knowledge, you will do a foolish thing. Sometimes in the train, one goes to the bathroom, but instead of putting this thing, they put this one. And they sit. Somebody comes, opens. They're shouting. Because ignorant. Some people are foolish. They don't know how to do things properly. So, therefore, one should be knowledgeable even about one needs presence of mind even in small things. What is big of great things like knowing what is matter, what is spirit, who is Ishwar, controller of both. So we need guidance of a great devotee like Narada. So when one is guided, then when knowledge awakens, then ignorance is dispelled. It's like switching on a light in a dark room. Then you have no more fear. In dark room, there may be a scorpion or a snake or something. You have fear. When you put your feet, you are not comfortable. When the light is on, you can see things as they are. Where is the fear? You become free from fear. You are very confident. Even if somebody dies in a family, you know that, the soul never dies. The soul is just transferred to next body. And this person has finished his term in this particular body. So you can see things as they are. So, and therefore you get sukham. You get relief. That sukham also comes from relief from tamaguna and rajaguna. Keep them out of the window, throw them out. So keep your life in sattva-guna where you can have steadiness. Steadiness means you make a plan and execute the plan without any hindrance. If you, and also you plan things ahead of time. And you can very peacefully await for the particular plan to be executed without feeling somebody is catching you by the neck and rushing you. The clock is pushing you from behind. You don't feel like that. You are well organized, well planned, and you're steady in everything you do. Right thing at the right time. Like we say, a place for everything and everything in its place. Among people means everything everywhere. Cluttered. Just as the table is cluttered, their mind is also cluttered, indecisive and confused and paralyzed. Whereas in Sattva-guna, one is very organized, very well planned, well designed life. So, Sukham and Jnana. So he was renounced and he was Mukta Sangha and he was situated in Gandhamadana Parvat. He really understood what spiritual life is, simply pleasing Guru and Krishna. And life is pretty simple. Actually, when you don't have too many parameters to worry about. When you are in a renounced order, you just stay under the custody of Guru. You only have one person to please, which is Guru. And you have only one activity to do, which is devotional service. And you don't have much anxiety. Just be straight focused. You are here and the Supreme Lord is at the end of the road. Straight you have to go. That's all. Don't just get distracted here and there. That's what he was doing. Very happily he was doing. So as he was progressing in his devotion service, actually many people want such a smooth road without any twists and turns and complications. Sometimes you have a GPS also with you. You go and then you went round and round and came back to the same place where you started wonder why I started here. After half an hour I'm here only. It takes you round and round and round you go. So we want a smooth road, straight road, easy going road. And in the renounced order, life is pretty easy. One very senior lady in Pune told my spiritual master, Maharaj, this brahmachari's life is so jolly, she said. That mother is about 70 years. So she was telling, these guys, Maharaj, morning they get up and they're just chanting and dancing. And then the breakfast time, they come and show their plate, they get nice breakfast, ready-made. And she said, we grihasthas have to go to market, purchase grocery, and we have to work hard and bring money and everything. So Maharaj was telling her, see, these fellows have, given up sex life. They have no encumbrances. And at the same time, they have to restrain the lower nature. And then direct their mind and heart to the higher nature. Those who can do that, for that they are getting the gift of freedom, which is not very easy. So, if everybody tries that, I will just, many times the boys working in companies, they find the job cumbersome, 14 hours, 16 hours. They want to give up the job and just shave up and join the temple as full-time devotees. Why? Because you get 3 times prasad and you relax and you don't have to rush to the office. You are a free bird. But they fail to understand one thing. It's very easy to do that for 1 day or 2 days. It's not easy to do for 10 years or 20 years. You cannot do that because Prabhupada said even the brahmacharis and sannyasis, they rise by 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. in the morning till night 9:30 or 10 p.m. you will see them, they have a lot of hard work to do in ISKCON society. Go out, do Harinam Sankirtan, do book distribution, do Prasadam distribution, go to schools, colleges, companies, preach, and also inside the temple, taking care of the Lord, the deities, putting up festivals, organizing many things within the temple. Prabhupada said ISKCON is not a free hotel. Huh? Prabhupada writes, you put the word free hotel in Bhagavatam, you will get. Prabhupada says in the Bharat Maharaj section, many times Grihasthas may not be aware in ISKCON that brahmacharis also work very hard. Huh? They work probably more than outside people also. Because brahmacharis sometimes work for 18 hours a day also. Because they sleep only 5.5, 6 hours. Huh? Many times. Because they know their private life. Huh? Their only life is being in the temple. You don't have you don't have a temple life and your own private home. Here there's no private home. Temple is home and office, both for them. So you'll be easily caught for service. Prabhuji, it seems you have some free time, come here. Huh? Immediately. Isn't it? So Maharaj was telling that these fellows work slog hard. Only difference is these fellows work only for Krishna. They don't have to work for anybody else. So now he was in Gandhamadana Parvat doing the meditation, chanting Navavida Bhakti to the Supreme Lord and very peacefully executing devotional service, unimpeded, which is what everybody wants nowadays. I want to just do my devotion. You ask any Mataji, for example, oh, this small baby at home. You see, husband has to be made ready to go to office. His in-laws are there. They are very old. We have to take them to doctor. And also cleaning the house and cleaning the vessels. Oh, so much cumbersome. One may feel like that. So many duties are pulling us. Similarly, the man who goes to office, he has to hear the yelling boss sometimes. Sometimes he has to have uncooperative colleagues sometimes, or slow moving colleagues who don't do things on time. So many times people do face challenges in life and they feel that why can't spiritual life be smooth sailing, how nice it will be if everything is arranged for me. But it's a fact that life is not a bed of roses. You will always see that there are thorns and pebbles on the way. One has to face those things in all life. Like brahmacharis, Prabhupada says brahmacharis are attached and detached. And grihasthas are attached. And then sannyasis are detached. He says in one of the purports. So if somebody has been a brahmachari or a sannyasi practicing renounced order for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, eventually the magnitude of attachments reduces, depending on the intensity of practice, gradually. But in the early stage, the attachments are very high. So that is like a war against Maya, which they have declared when they join as brahmachari. But as you get older and older and older and you have sincere and serious practice, attachments, magnitude reduces. And then they become, proportionately their attraction for the Lord increases. It's like X and 1 minus X. It's like that. So degree attraction for material enjoyments reduces, that much proportionately attraction for Lord and services, everything increases if you are situated under a Vaishnava Guru and practicing spiritual life properly. So during that period, that phase of life, they have to naturally struggle and overcome the Maya. How do they do that? By hearing, Shravanam. Because some people hear and wake up and they understand, I don't want to get entangled in this world, let me get out. Some people hear and see others suffering. They see that, oh, my same boy who was studying in the same class, now he got a job, he got wife, he got children, and they have so many responsibilities. Now he is struggling, to put up the family, and they see that it is suffering, so they don't go. There are some people who hear, who see, but they have to experience it. When they get married and beget children, and slowly they come to grip with the understanding that, the way life in this world is not very pleasurable, not very pleasing. Because, see, when a boy and girl are young, in teenage, they live in a dream world. Because they have seen many movies, that's the problem. Because many times they think life is also like, we call it as a real life and real life. So life is real life or real life? Yeah. Is it same as real? No. Once they marry, he finds that once the baby has come, Wife also can get sick sometimes, and you get sick sometimes. Children get sick sometimes. Bills are coming. You know. So then a person realizes, my Lord, this is not what I wanted. I wanted enjoyment, but I'm getting suffering. I think I got entangled in MS or something like that. One realizes after getting that experience, one gets. At that time, one desires release from that situation, but one cannot get released because you have accepted Pani Grahanam. So a father is giving his daughter in marriage to a boy. It's called Kanya. Yeah. And the boy is accepting the hand of the girl and going around the fire. That is called Pani Grahanam. Pani means hand, Grahana means to accept. Then he has the sacred duty to take care of that girl throughout the life and then give children and then maintain the house and everything. One should be responsible. And then, and they both, if they advance in spiritual life, then the family life won't be so miserable. The degree one is spiritually advanced. I have seen many, many couples, husband, wife are so blissfully situated because if you are spiritually very seriously practicing, then you get realizations in Krishna consciousness which keep you very happy. Contact with Krishna gives you bliss. Contact with Maya gives you suffering. But most people are foolish. They keep contact with Maya and forget Krishna, so they get suffering. That's the problem. The more you come in closer and closer, same with brahmacharis. Brahmacharis who are in contact with Krishna more and more, they are ecstatically situated. And brahmacharis who are not in touch with Krishna, they're more in touch with Maya, they're static, not ecstatic. What are they doing static? Looking at the sky. What is my future? After I turn 40, in case I change ashram, what will happen? Mera kya hoga? They're thinking like that. They feel lonely. Sometimes they feel lack of some emotion. Maybe if I marry, some girl will come in my life and supply some emotional support and things like that, foolishly. So in this way, because they are not in contact with Krishna. So if one is in, that means both brahmachari and grihastha, they have to be in contact with. That is the secret. If one wants to be happy in any ashram, whether brahmachari or grihastha, so one's life will become easy. Like Arjuna, for example, alone he would have been miserable in the battle. But who was with him? Krishna was with him. So he didn't have to worry because Krishna was his friend, philosopher, and guide. He was an encouraging friend, and he was a philosopher who could clear up the path for him. No more confusion, no more indecision. Full clarity he got by the philosophy he spoke. And guide. He's telling Arjuna, like Nivata Kavachas came at one time. So Krishna told, stop this war, you have to go there. Arjuna said, what about this? Krishna said, forget it. Nivata Kavachas, nobody can defeat. They are aquatic demons. And they have been there for quite some time. This is that time. And Krishna diverted him and took him there. And then for this army, he arranged another person. So you will see Krishna's guidance was so precise at the right time. Similarly, for a devotee who is in touch with Krishna, at every moment Krishna is guiding. See, you are becoming proud, give up the pride. You are becoming unnecessarily greedy. Don't be over ambitious. Be happy with this. The super soul is constantly speaking. And we may not be able to hear the super soul, but we may hear the mind which is greedy or lusty or proud or something. But the more a devotee is in touch with Krishna, then Krishna's sound vibration becomes very prominent, very loud and clear. No more ambiguity. Same thing Guru is speaking, outside, director within and preceptor without, we say, no? We are, if you cannot hear the super soul, then we should hear the spiritual masters, teachings and then faithfully follow that. So, in this way, in his state of Mukta Sangha, he was pretty happy, Priyavrata. Very satisfied, happy, enlightened. Who will want to trade such a life with anything, short of that? That was Priyavrata. He had no inclination for marriage at that time. He was satisfied. At that time, there was a need, there was a very great, dire need in this world for a good leader. Because what happened was, Priyavrata and Uttanapad were brothers, and they had 3 sisters, Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. And these 5 children were born to Shatarupa and Swayambhamanu. Now, Swayambhamanu, being a father, he wants to retire now and go to forest, because the kings would go to forest after 50, along with their wife, and they would practice Vanaprastha, ashram. What is the difference between 50 plus and 50 minus? If you see, between the age 25 to 50, uh, a husband and wife are supposed to engage in religious activities together and then derive some sukriti, bhakti sukriti. Plus, they have to put up the family also. Like husband has a profession and wife is a homemaker. Children are small, they have to raise now. So many responsibilities to be fulfilled. Daughters have to be married. Son has to be settled in life. So there are a lot of things and also social obligations. You have so many relatives who are supporting you. You have to go for many, many social invitations and things like that. 40 sanskaras have to be performed, out of which 10 are very vital. They have to perform purificatory ceremonies and all that. So, Grihastha Ashrama life is compared to climbing a mountain in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes climbing a mountain is a little painful thing, but one has to do those duties between 25 to 50. Out of the four orders, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, the contact with women for the sake of begetting children, that's only in Grihastha Ashram. In Brahmachari Ashram, women are called with the Brahmacharis as mother, Bhavati Pikshandehi. Women are seen as mothers. And when one takes to Anaprastha, one may be living with one's wife, but not for sex life. One is staying with one's wife like a spiritual partner. And both of them are enthusiastically planning how to advance in spiritual life. How to gradually detach from matter and attach to Krishna. That is the third phase of life. First phase of life is learn and grow. Learn the Vedic literature and grow in maturity. Second phase of life is Grihastha Ashrama is engage and earn. Engage in religious and devotional activities and earn bhakti sukriti. Third phase of life, 50 to 75, detach from material engagements and attach to Krishna. And last phase of life, 75 to 100, pray and prepare to go back to Godhead. Now, beyond 75, the body can anytime run out of fuel. Then we may have to quit the situation. Then one has to become very prayerful. And our only companion is the super soul. Everybody else will leave us behind. And we have to hold on to the lotus feet of the Lord at that time. So pray and prepare. In this way, in the Vedic life, it's very nicely organized. Beyond 50, one will go to take Vanaprastha to forest, just like Prithu and Archi went to forest. Malayadvaja and Vaidarvi went to forest. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari went to forest also. In Bhagavatam, many examples you will read like that. So some of them go with their wives. If wife want to come. If wife doesn't want to come, the wife will stay with son. Son will take care of the mother and the father will proceed ahead. Sometimes the wife will go with the husband to stay in the forest with him, maybe for 5 years, 10 years. After that, the husband wants to take sannyas. So she will grant him permission. And then she will come back to home. And whatever spiritual learnings she gathered in the husband's company, she will come and teach the children. That way the family becomes spiritualized also. The sons, daughters, they become more wiser. So that when they grow, they can also take Vanaprastha at the right time. Like that. Such a beautiful system it is. So, and the husband will proceed ahead. Kutichaka Bahudaka Parivrajaka Paramahamsa. Kutichaka means he lives in the same village, in a cottage, and wife goes and supplies prasadam box, dabba. Dabba prasad she will supply, and husband will only take prasadam from wife, and then he'll be doing devotional practice. That is Kutichaka. Bahudaka means he will tell his wife, don't supply food now. I will go home to home and beg alms, just like whatever Goswamis did. Madhukari. Like that he will do. Then once he becomes more mature in spiritual life, then he goes to Parivrajak, which means he travels, from village to village, town to town, distributing Yare Deko Darika Krishna Upadesh, doing that. And then when he becomes very exalted, he becomes a Paramahamsa, fourth stage sannyasi, very exalted like that. So, in this way, the Vedic life inspires all living entities to proceed towards the Paramahamsa platform eventually. So, Priyavrata was celibate, who hadn't married and he had no intention to marry. He was planning to continue. He was Mukta Sangha very happily. But the problem was his brother Uttanapad, he became a king. Then his son Dhruva became the king. Then Dhruva had some sons who were, one of the sons, Utkala, one fellow was a Paramahamsa also. He was Avaduta, very exalted. And then some other sons they took up also. But then the lineage at certain point of time faced a dead end. There was no more continuation because sometimes a king has no son and to continue the Vamsh. So at that time, now Swayambhu Manu was in trouble. So he went to his son in the Gandhamadana Parvata and said, "My dear son, I am old man and you are young, so you should take up the rule of the world." He was not just eager to make his son king, he was desperate because it was a need of the hour to rule the world. The one boy who became brahmachari in a temple, he was asking, "Prabhuji, because Swayambhu Manu called Priyavrata, then he had to go for marriage. So do I also have the responsibility to go back and get married?" He asked. I said, "You are not going to rule the world. You only have one small family. You are not king of the world. You just better stay only. Of course, if you want to marry, you can marry. Isn't it? What? I asked him, if you get out of the ashram, what great thing are you going to do? Are you going to deliver the world or protect the world? Then your going is meaningful. Anything an undertaking you take in your life, you should only do that if you can do something noble, something great. Correct or not? Isn't it? Similarly, another boy was asking, "Guruji, I heard that Kshatriya kings, if a woman comes and requests him for a union, they cannot say no." And he said, "Guruji, I come from a Kshatriya family." Like that he said. Then I told him, Kshatriya means Kshatriya should go to the battlefield, he should see the heads flying, and one of the heads may be his own head also. I told him, I will arrange for 5 people with swords, and one of them may make your head fly. Are you ready? Then only you can give shelter to a woman. He said, "Prabhuji, I am not a Kshatriya," I said. He said, "I come in a family which is Kshatriya, but he said, I am afraid." He said, "Thank God, modern day Kshatriya myself, I don't have to go for war, I am happy," he said. Then I said, therefore the Shastric injunctions should not be partially applied. It will be called Ardha Kukuta Nyaya. You have to fully apply. After he came to know who is a Kshatriya, he understood, oh, then I cannot give shelter to anybody. I said, you are not a Kshatriya, you are a Shudra. Because you are afraid. You are afraid of the war. You are running away. You are not following the Yuddhe Chapi Palayanam. So one who does that, then he may give shelter to a woman, not you. So in the same manner, no. Now Swayambhu Manu, he wants to retire, which is very valid, is it not? He's the elderly personality, he wants to retire. But the grandson also, not grandson, his son, Brahma's grandson, but is Swayambhu Manu's son. But the son also wants to retire. Father wants to retire and son also wants to retire. There's a competition between father and son. Who will retire first? So, son is already retired. But he has to come, leave the retirement and come back and again take responsibility, which he is not very comfortable with. He politely refused. Who? Priyavrata. And father was wondering, son is not accepting now, who will take charge of the world? Because it is very dangerous for the throne to be empty, because the thieves and rogues will flourish. Varnashrama will be dismantled, and the people will become like, he said, no, Samik Rishi is telling to his son Shringi, if a king is not on the throne, there is no one to institute discipline. People will not follow the Varna and Ashrama Dharma, and thieves and rogues will increase, and they will start looting the people. Like in America now, in Beverly Hills, one house is like crores of rupees worth. Big houses like palatial buildings. People, very, very rich people were living there. Now that there is a lot of unemployment, and refugees also coming into the countries now, there is a lot of unrest and disturbance. You might have seen in UK and in Ireland has closed doors, Denmark has closed doors. Now UK is facing certain challenges. Similarly in US also, many people are entering. So now there is a kind of, everywhere there are problems. So in Beverly Hills, there are thieves and rogues entering the houses and, looting the houses and killing rich people. And it may be very difficult for police to suddenly handle multiple problems in different parts of the country. Therefore, the rule of the king has to be very strong, in such a manner that thieves and rogues will be kept under control. They should have fear. Not that anybody does anything and there is no one to ask. So the king's role is very important. So There is a very big economic bracket difference. Rich are becoming richer, poor are becoming poorer. When there is a very big difference, then the poorest people think we can never become rich like those guys. Then break into their houses. Huh? You know, like one family was selling in South. The both the sons are abroad and the parents are in South, and they are getting beyond 70, 75. And the second son told them that I'll put you in the old age home. Huh? At least there you have 40, 50 people staying, and there is a very good protection mechanism. If you are in a very big independent bungalow staying at home, if a thief comes and breaks in, they won't be able to have the strength to fight back. Correct? No? Security concerns. Huh? So the thieves and rogues flourish in a kingdom where the king is absent, huh? Or the king is a coward. So Priyavrata's role was very important. Not only to keep the law and order, but also to uphold Varnashrama also. Huh? What is Varnashrama? Varna means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The society should be categorized. The Brahmanas study the scriptures and teach. Kshatriyas offer protection. Vaishyas are producing economy. Huh? Protecting the cows and trading and farming they do. And the Shudras assist the other three. And the whole society is properly, there is a division in the society. So everybody does activity according to the psychophysical nature and very satisfied. Because once people are doing activity according to the psycho nature, mind becomes peaceful and they won't trouble others. You will see that when a boy gets properly engaged in a job, he is making money, then his mind becomes peaceful. Somebody suddenly laid off in the job, again mind is disturbed. Every living entity wants some engagement. And according to his nature, engagement should be given. And the ashrama is also very important because ashrama is for spiritual progress, varna is for material progress. Both are combined together as varnashrama. Materially, one should be peaceful. Spiritually, one should be active. Then brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, that is ashrama order. So, who does this? So Maharaj, the first thing he did as soon as he became the king, he has divided the people in varnashrama. He divided. So the whole society was very, same thing Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur did. He created this brahmachari grihastha vanaprastha order because he said that if you organize it, then the large scale preaching can be done also. So for that also king is required to institute it. And the king should be a devotee of God. He himself goes to temple, bows down to God, and then teaches the people how to be a devotee. So Priyavrata is not ready. He's politely refusing. Swayambhamanu wants him. No, and then Swayambhamanu thought, let me go to higher authority, like going to GBC now. Who is that? Brahmaji. So he went to Brahma and said, see, my son is not ready. He is not ready to take my role. Do you want me to run the show? I am already old man. And I have to worry about my spiritual upliftment also. What do you do? Brahma said, don't worry, I am coming. Then Brahma came in the swan carrier with many rishis and devatas and everybody and was landing on a helipad in Gandhamadana mountain. And Narada saw him and Priyavrata saw. And immediately they reached that spot and they offered obeisances because Brahma is a very big personality. He's the first created living being in the material world, son of the Supreme Lord, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He has 4 heads and his body is made of intelligence. Most wisest personality, first Acharya for Guru Parampara also. He has multiple qualifications, multiple credentials, highly respected by everybody. So now they both offered obeisances and then Brahma smiled compassionately, it is said. Why he smiled? He said, hey, my grandson, you are so naughty, you are not accepting. Now I will convince you to accept this important responsibility. At the same time, he was compassionate. Why? He said, I know your intention is to attain the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda. I assure you that you will not fail in that goal. So to give assurance, he was very compassionate to him. So, and Brahmaji spoke very expertly, most knowledgeable, isn't it? Yashat sapatnan, vijigishamano. He says that, my dear boy, even if somebody goes to forest, leaving the family behind, do you think he is free? He is carrying his 6 wives with him, he said. Who are those 6 wives? 5 senses, jnanendriyas, and 1 mind. Brahmachari leaves everything and he joins the ashram, but he is not joining alone. His five senses and mind are always going with him, which are very difficult things to handle. The five senses are always hankering. So it is said, when one takes to renounced order, there is a hankering for enjoyment. And when one takes to the married order, there is frustration. Because by contact of the sense and sense objects, Krishna says, Yehi samsparshaja bhogavas, one gets misery. So one is hankering, one is frustrated. Then who is happy? Only one who sublimates is happy. One is neither hankering, na shochati, na kankshati. And then he comes to Brahma Bhuta stage. So Jiva Bhutas have to become Brahma Bhuta. Jiva Bhuta means we are troubled by gross and subtle bodies. Gross body gives diseases, subtle body gives depression, and hankerings and all. We suffer. But Brahma Bhuta means a person is purified. Purified mind, purified body, which is absorbed in Krishna. So that such a person is like Rishike and Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate, is blissfully situated. So, but Brahma told him that, okay, you have renounced everything. That doesn't mean you are a free bird. And I have identified that you have an ability to rule the world. Because you are coming in which lineage? Kshatriya lineage and very noble family. You have the ability to rule the world. If you didn't have that ability, I won't call you. Because if somebody is not meant for ruling the world, there's no point forcing them. Like we say, skill and will. Now, Priyavrata has the skill, but he doesn't have the will. So Brahmaji inspired him to develop that willingness. If somebody lacks the skill, although he's very willing, like some devotee is telling, Prabhuji, I am ready to sing, lead the kirtan, but he cannot sing well. So it's no use. You may say, Prabhuji, you are right at 4:30 in the morning to sing Mangalarati. Unfortunately, he cannot sing so well. He doesn't know Tala, he doesn't know Raga. He will spoil the show. So which one is important? Skill, will? First, what do you need? The skill is required. To rule the world, you require some skill. He had the skill, Priyavrata. So Brahma said, I have noticed that potential in you. You have that. And I just want you to be willing to accept this responsibility. So naturally, Priyavrata turned to his guru, Narada. This new problem has come, what to do? Narada nodded his head and said, you can agree with this, no problem. Then he told Brahmaji, okay, I agree, I surrender to you. Because it's a very challenging situation. Here you see Narada is a Mahajan, Swayambhamanu is a Mahajan, isn't it? And Brahma is also Mahajan. So three Mahajanas are together. So very challenging situation, whom to follow. Of course, his immediate authority is Narada, and his higher authority is Swayambhamanu. Above him there is Brahma. So there are three higher authorities. So fortunately, all the three authorities concurred in their, decision. Of course, Brahma said it, and the next to Swayambhamanu naturally wanted it. And Narada would have been happy if this fellow can continue in the renounced order. But then Narada is father. He's father of Narada and the guru of Narada also. Who? He's both. Father and guru, he cannot refuse him. So he has to take the responsibility. So Narada also inspired him to accept the responsibility. And Brahmaji told him, I'm very grateful to you, happy that you are taking the responsibility. It's order of the Supreme Lord, it is not my order. He told, I know this is the desire of the Supreme Lord and order of the Supreme Lord, you accept this. But I promise you that you will not get entangled. You will be protected because you are doing it under order and direction of superiors. You are not whimsically doing anything. So then he accepted the married order. At that time, Parikshit asked a question when he heard about this. He said, earlier he was Mukta Sangha, now he is becoming Abhinivishta. Abhinivesh means absorption in material entanglement. This taking to the family life and, taking responsibility of this world is a very painful thing. Management of the world. Prabhupada says the best manager of the universe, Brahma, were criticized by the topmost of the devotees, gopis. Prabhupada says, what the gopis criticized? In one of the songs, the gopis were singing, Atatiya Braja Agni Kananam Vamapashyatam Kutilakalam Shri Mukham Chate Yadavudikshakam Pakshmakridrasham. Gopis are saying, my dear Lord Krishna, when you go to the forest and the sun is up in the sky, you are playing so many games with your friends and eating lunch in the bank of Yamuna, and those fellows are having a good time with you. But we gopis, we have no permission from our parents to go with you to the forest, although we would love to come. We are not allowed. So we are waiting for you. But in the evening when you come back, surrounded by cows and calves and covered boys, the cows are raising dust cloud. And the dust cloud comes on your hair and face. You look so attractive. Shamala Varna Krishna looks like Panduranga. Evening with the white dust cloud. So his curly locks of hair are falling in the front, and your loving glances and pleasing smiles, and your curly locks of blackish hair falling on the forehead. So when we look at you, we feel so joyful, even though it's only for a few moments we can get to see you. But at that time, our eyelids keep blinking back and forth. Who is the foolish creator who created these eyelids? Because of which it keeps opening and closing. Ears, he didn't keep anything to close the ears. Same manner he could have left here also. Why did he put the eyelids like this going, coming up and down? They said, although we love you so much, we have no ability to clip the eyelids. That much strength we don't have. Like that they were saying. So there Prabhupada says that gopis are the topmost devotees who criticize the best, the first manager of the universe. So if any of you are in managerial role, you are criticized, don't worry. It's a part of your duty. Because you have to only make sure that you are doing in alignment with Guru Parampara and alignment with Prabhupada's desires. You are not acting independently. But sometimes administering the right thing also may not be very pleasing to the people. If you have an announcement like, Prabhu's Mataji, there is some extra gulab jamuns, can anyone finish it? That's a very joyful announcement. Even if the mic was not working, still people will keep running. They will come running to you. That they hear very attentively. If you have to say, festival is over, we want some devotees who are winding up, they will say, we couldn't hear it. What is it? We didn't hear it, Prabhuji, properly. They will say, isn't it? So, manager's job is a very tough job. So, now, Parikshit is asking, why did he leave that position of Mukta Sangha and is accepting the role of Abhinivesh? And Prabhupada says it can happen due to two reasons. One is Vaishnava Parad. If somebody did, then one may be pushed to get entangled. That is another great, deep philosophical point. Prabhupada says, if any devotee commits aparad, Krishna plants material desires in the heart of the devotee. And those material desires divert the devotee from devotional service to become abhinivishta, absorbed in material in activities, and the devotee leaves the association of devotees and goes out in the material world and gets entangled in the material world. Now you may say, why is Krishna so cruel? He is planting material desires in the heart of a devotee. How can Lord do that and give forgetfulness to the devotee? They don't know the Lord is supremely compassionate. If the devotee remained in the association of devotees and continued committing offenses, his juice in Krishna consciousness will become dried up. Which is more serious? Offenses are sins. Offenses. So Krishna plants material desires so that he will only commit sins and not offenses. Sins are on a material platform. Offenses are on a spiritual platform. So Krishna sees that this fellow is becoming too offensive in devotee association. Move him out. Instead of offenses, let him commit some sins and get some kicks from Maya, get purified. Then he becomes grateful for the association, comes back into association and doesn't commit offenses. So that is Krishna's great plan, which is unknown to the common people generally. Many devotees also don't know this, why Krishna does this. But Priyavrata didn't commit any offense to anybody. He was peacefully practicing. There's not any record of any offenses. Then another reason Prabhupada says why a devotee may be entangled. Prabhupada says, by Lord's plan, he says. Really? Lord places an impediment in a devotee's life by entangling a devotee, like Bharat Maharaj, for example. He got distracted by a deer and then became a deer. But if you carefully study, you will see the deer Bharat was more spiritually advanced than King Bharat. Correct or not? His devotion service became accelerated and intensified when he got the body of a deer, which means when Bharat was little careless and casual, Krishna gave a jerk in his life. Just like an aeroplane, sometimes you are not wearing the belt, you remove the belt very coolly. Like that aeroplane gave a jerk. Immediately people will put the belt. Let us be more careful, isn't it? So Krishna gave a jerk in his life to wake him up. And that was a small period of time in the time span of eternity. And then quickly he became Jada Bharata and then went back to Godhead subsequently. So therefore one can know that if it is Lord's plan, like Lord wanted Jai Vijay to become three asuras and enjoy Virya Rasa with him. Similarly, sometimes the Lord plans something for a devotee. In the case of Priyavrata, this is actually Lord's plan, which came through Brahma and Swayambhava. So because if he accepts the Lord's plan, then his future is bright, nothing to worry. Even if there is a turmoil which may temporarily offset his spiritual life, he will quickly come back because he is doing under order. He is doing under the supreme order. So that was explained by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit also. Parikshit is asking these very sincere questions because he himself is a grihastha, is a sincere practitioner. Sometimes you will find a very good grihastha devotee will ask a question as if he is undergoing some difficulty. Actually, they are the ones who ask such questions also. As if they are, like Anandamadan Prabhu in Bombay used to ask questions. And his questions are most appreciated by all grihasthas. And many of them will tell him, Prabhuji, we want to ask, but we have weak mind. If you ask in a public class, others, what will they think about us? Our image will be spoiled. But then we are so grateful to you that you are asking on our behalf. Although you don't have the trouble. We have trouble, but we are weak-minded to ask. You don't have trouble, but you ask. And Maharaj, Janath Maharaj, the answer he gives for your question, that benefits us more. So some or other Krishna's divine arrangement that you are amongst us is very good, that you ask questions. There were 2-3 people. One is he, another one was Prabhu in Bombay. So Maharaj would tell Maharaj would tell in the Bhagavatam class that as soon as I finish the class, 2 hands go up. One is Anandamadan Prabhu and one is Mahaprabhu. They have the regular sitting places. Maharaj will look around and say, see, these are the 2 hands. He would say that. But they asked so many questions relevant to Grihasthas, how they can advance in spiritual life. Like that Parikshit is asking question, very sincere question. Actually, one amazing observation you all will make, the serious devotees become more and more serious. Just like a gold put in fire, the blackish things are all thrown out and become purer and purer. And many times you may want to see the less serious one become more serious. They become more and more less serious. When there's more serious, become more and more serious. So that is seen always. That's the nature of this world. So Parikshit is already a serious devotee. And he is asking the sincere question so that other people in this world don't become entangled. And he also wants to hear the answer of Shukadeva Goswami, how everything came out well for Priyavrata. Priyavrata, when he married, whom did he marry? Barishmati. He married Barishmati. She was extremely beautiful. It is said that when they were doing Agni Valam, even the Agni gods stand, it is said, seeing her beauty. Many demigods, devatas from the sky, they were stunned by her beauty, it is said. So later on, when Priyavrata, after the marriage, he begot a son called Agnidhara. But in that union with her, he had become attached to her, which later on he repents also. He regrets. Momentarily he became attached. So the boy who was born, Agnidhara, he didn't aim at the spiritual world. He aimed at heavenly planets. That is due to mental disposition of Priyavrata during the time of union with Barishmati. Nevertheless, Priyavrata didn't get entangled because he followed Brahma's order. There is a verse of repentance you will see. He sincerely repented and that repentance tears purified him and he went back to Godhead. Priyavrata perfected his life. So And one of the glorification about Priyavrata is, although he didn't want to do something, he agreed to do that thing for fulfilling the order of the superiors. So you will see Brahma had two sons. If you see, Brahma had the first four sons, this Kumaras. They refused to marry. They wanted to remain celibate. And that is not condemned either. They were very clear about their ashram, and they were fixed up devotees also. So sometimes boys ask, Prabhuji, if parents ask us to marry, can we follow in the footsteps of four Kumaras? And say that Kumaras told no to parents, so we will also say no to parents. So I would ask them, are you as strong as four Kumaras in your resolve to remain a celibate? Because the Kumaras didn't do any kind of debauchery or any kind of adultery or anything. They remained loyal and truthful and pure all through their career as a brahmachari. Not that you say no to parents, but you are showing certain symptoms of malpractice or behavior with opposite sex. Then you are not like Kumaras, you are a cheater. Like Krishna says, Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyaravate Arjuna. No, sorry, not that one. Karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasasmaran indriyartam imudhatma mityachara suchite, he says. So externally controlling the senses and internally contemplating on sense objects, and then one is proceeding in that wrong direction. That would be cheating. So, of course, Priyavrata was not doing any such cheating. He was very fixed up devotee. But he accepted this role out of a sense of duty to his father and grandfather. He did that. So, it's a very unique case of Priyavrata. And he was protected by Brahma's instructions, and he also glorifies Lord heartily, highly empowered devotee, Priyavrata, to do many great things. As a king also he did. So there is one famous verse, Nainam vida purushakara urakramasya pumsam tadangri rajasa dishad gunanam chitram vidura vikataha sagradada dita yannamadeya madhuna sajahati bandham. This verse says, Nainam vida purushakara urukram. There are two words used in Sanskrit, Daiva and Purushakara. Purushakara means by your own endeavor. Daiva means by the empowerment of the Lord. So out of the two, which is great? Daiva. By your own Purushakara, you can do this much. By divine empowerment, you can do this much. Like Arjuna. He was given the Gandiva bow and Krishna empowered him, and he did wonders beyond any human comprehension. One Bhishma Pitama Prabhupada says is like 25,000 Arjunas, he says, in one of the lectures. He was so mighty, but he defeated big Timingalas in the battle. Similarly, this verse which I told you now is about Priyavrata. He did many great marvelous acts as a king, empowered by the Supreme Lord and his grandfather Brahma. So, and then he's saying, Jitashad Gunana. A conditioned soul who is attached to sense gratification can very easily kick away all the shadripus of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, everything. If one gets the dust particles from Krishna's lotus feet on one's head, the Guru Parampara one gets. Priyavrata got that dust, and then he was an empowered devotee. So his following and aligning with the order of the superior is glorified here. Now, one last point, when all of us in our life, our manager is telling us something to do, we are not very happy with that service. We have attraction for some other service, but manager wants us to do another service. So what do we do? Many people have this question. Authority wants one thing, I want to do another thing. Generally, what I tell people, see, there are three type of activities we all do. One is, Vihita karma, Kamya karma, Nishiddha karma, we call it. Vihita karma means your authorities tell you to do, you do it. Kamya karma means those activities which you like to do, you are fond of doing. And Nishiddha karma means prohibited activities, which should not be done. Now, Vihita karma, when it is given to you, you do these things, you do it. In between, whatever intervals you get, in those intervals you can do Kamya karma. For example, somebody want to learn Mridanga, like Bhagavatam class is going on in temple. This fellow is practicing Mridanga in the ashram. Very, very slowly, Shastric steps. Hey, What about the class? Probably daytime is too busy. I don't get time. So during Bhagavatam class only I practice. Is it allowed? No. One should attend the whole morning program and also brahmachari class, whatever. And one should take out time when you have your own personal time. In that you can do your pleasurable activities like learning mridangam or harmonium or, you know, or somebody want to learn little Sanskrit or whatever, things like that. That is kami karma. But vihita karma should be done, whatever authorities have given. Similarly, for the congregation also, congregation devotees, there are certain needs of the temple. Temple may say, can somebody come and dress the deities? But somebody saying, but what about my preaching? I have interest in preaching. Okay, one day you dress the deity, another day of the week you can go and preach. They may say that. Similarly, there's a need for cooking in the temple. Somebody says, instead of that, I can lead the kirtan mela. Okay, you are very good in kirtan, but today there is a need for cooking. Then today you help in cooking. So one should be willing to cooperate with the authorities' request. Otherwise, the services don't move on. That's a difficulty. So we should cooperate. Vihita karma should be done. Kama karma can be done in the intervals when you want to do it in your own this thing. And the nishita karma is a prohibited activity should be given up. For example, if a parent sometimes may have a big car and take their child in a car, they may show the ocean. The child is looking at the ocean and may think that let me play in the seashore. So, but parents don't want the child to go there because it's risky. So the Vihita karma is inside the car. And Kama karma is playing in the sea beach. And Nishita karma is entering into ocean. You understand the difference? Like for a king to marry one wife like Lord Ramachandra did, that's Vihita karma. For a king to marry multiple wives, that's Kama karma. For a king to go to a prostitute, that is Nishita karma. So all of us should know what is white, what is grey, and what is black. We should clearly know. So being in the car is white, being in the seashore is grey, and going into the ocean is black. One should know the activities like that. So here, Priyavrata, his grey zone he was more happy in the renounced order as a devotee. And then Brahmaji convinced him to take up Grihastha order. And then he said, you can practice very nicely here also. It's not that you will be unable to. He gave him assurance. So in Grihastha Ashrama, if one wants to practice without entanglement, there are a few tips, very, very easy tips, which one can follow. One is, simplify material life. Simplify your small home, simple food, and focus on spiritual life, morning program, rising early in the morning and chanting and reading proper books, and regularly going for Sangha and taking up some preaching oneself, preaching and book distribution. That means maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. This is the first formula. Maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. If you see in Gulf, many of the couples, not only they have program on Friday, but even on other days, almost daily there is something going on in their house. Devotees come. Their home only becomes like a temple. They have a big altar at home and Mataji, Prabhuji and children playing Mridanga, Kartal and like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Yedina grihe bhajana ki grihe te goloka bhai. He's saying when I come home in the evening, children are beating Mridangam and playing and dancing and doing arati. My home has turned into Goloka Vrindavan, he says. So if parents do the job in the company, but then morning, evening, they keep the home like a temple, maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. That's one thing. And another thing I told you is simplify your material life, which means, do not lavishly spend for luxuries. Save money and try to live with meager needs. For example, Prabhupada was very, very calculative. You've seen that? Even 10 rupees if he spends, he will write down. Hisab kitab. He will keep the accounts very, very pakka. He will not waste anything very easily. So, generally what happens as we earn more salary, we spend also big. Like you got a little bigger salary, bigger car, then bigger house, more costly dress. Then in this way we start increasing our this thing. And due to that, what happens? We don't save also and we get everything big, then maintenance takes away a lot of time. So therefore simplify material life, I told you. And another thing, safeguard your tongue. Because with the tongue, we can speak bad words, we can speak harshly, or with the tongue, we may speak false of others. With the tongue, we may blaspheme somebody, it's possible. Or tongue can do arguments. Tongue can do debates, unnecessarily useless debates. These are all bad things that come out of the tongue. What are the good things? You can speak sweetly, you can speak beneficially, you can speak in a friendly way, cooperatively. You can praise the devotees, appreciate the others' activities. You can praise the Supreme Lord, you can chant the holy name. So that's what tongue is a very, very important. It's like a rudder in a ship. Rudder in a ship, if you turn the rudder below the boat, the whole direction changes. So if you speak and the unwanted things I told you, that will take you in a downward direction. If you learn to speak pure things, that will take you in upward direction. So one has to safeguard the tongue. In case some of us are feeling that, Prabhuji, my tongue is not so controlled, better to keep silent. Because he says, speak fitly or be silent. Because, silence is better than speaking those unwanted things which I told you. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapavujjate. He says, don't speak in a way agitating to others, speak in a pleasing way, speak in a beneficial way, speak from the Shastras, isn't it? Yeah. So, speech. And another thing with the tongue we do is, eating. If you can control the tongue, it is said, jitam sarvam jite rasai, it is said. If you conquer the tongue, all other senses are automatically conquered. All other senses are subset of the tongue. If you just conquer the tongue. So how do you conquer the tongue? Sanctioned, sanctified, regulated food one should eat. Sanctioned food is vegetarian. Of course, all of us are vegetarian. Sanctified is prasad. That is also something we follow. But regulated is one thing very challenging for devotees. Once my senior shaman was telling, I asked, why after coming to ISKCON, devotees eat a lot of sabji and a lot of rice and everything. So he said, because other senses they are controlling, all the push of the senses, everything has come to the tongue now. So they think this is the only sense gratification. Look, like that they think. Because you cannot enjoy other senses. So everything comes to the tongue. So therefore one should be regulated. Because his Prabhupada says in the Bharat Maharaja section, if you overeat, what will happen? You will oversleep. Instead of 6 hours, you will sleep 12 hours. 10 hours, 12 hours. Then when you oversleep, then you get disoriented. Body becomes fat, your head becomes heated up, you get obesity, you get disoriented, and then you lose time, you lose focus, you lose concentration, you have no time for spiritual activities. So 6 hours is good enough. So light eating in the night. So early to bed, early to rise is another solution. Everything begins with early to bed. If you sleep at 9:30 in the night, get up at 3:30 in the morning, you get the golden hours of the morning to hear Prabhupada lectures, read Bhaktivedanta purports, chant the holy names. Nobody can disturb you. All fellows are asleep. So you are a free bird in the morning. But daytime, everybody will catch you. So early morning, now golden hours, one should try to maximize if possible. 1.5 hours before the Mangalarti. So in this way, early to bed and early to rise one is a solution. And tongue, as I told you, tongue has two activities. Tongue is simultaneously karmendriya and jnanendriya. It's a jnanendriya because it gives taste. It's karmendriya because it speaks. So one has to control the tongue in speaking and eating habits. That's why he says, Sevon mukhe hi jihvadao swayameva suratyadaha. Krishna manifests in the heart of a devotee who uses the tongue properly. It begins with the tongue. So, simplifying our material life and also maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time, and the usage of the tongue. Third thing I told you, usage of the tongue. And also, if you occupy your time with Krishna, then Maya is ousted out. You know what is oust? To do like push and throw a person out. So, because many people who don't take up preaching, they never study also. But if you take up preaching, you are forced to study. You will see most of the people who are not touching Prabhupada's book, now they are all the time found with Prabhupada's book because they have to give programs. So take programs and then you will trick your mind to read Prabhupada's books. So in this way, take up some preaching activities. Matajis can preach to girls and children and married women. So many people are needing. The girl is going to get married in 3, 4 years. She requires guidance. And the girl who is just now married, she has to be trained also how to live in the in-laws' house as a proper devotee, bring good name to ISKCON and Prabhupada. And the girl who is pregnant and she's a woman now and she's going to beget a child, they need so much guidance also. And somebody has a teenage adolescent children, they also need guidance. So Matajis can keep the family peaceful and happy by training all these different categories, beginning with children. Similarly, Prabhujis can do book distribution, prasadam distribution, preaching, and take lead, and the wives are assisting them. We can take leaps and bounds. Jayapataka Maharaj I heard that he wanted several dozen temples in Bangalore here. So much activities can be done, preaching centers, satellite centers. So if you keep your time occupied with multiple engagements like this, then Maya will be ousted out like that. That's what I was telling you, that this increases your contact with Krishna. Deity worship is very important for Grihasthas, especially Grihasthas. Jiva Goswami says that. Because, see, in Grihastha Ashrama, you exchange affection by touching the bodies of children, wife, parents. Because the touch gives you a sense of pleasure. But if you touch the deities and bathe them, dress them, so your sense of touch will become sanctified now. He will say, this is my Krishna, this is my Srimati Radharani, my deities. And you will develop affection for them. So your material affection gets positively transformed into spiritual affection for the deities. And your children also will develop strong fondness for the deities when they see parents worshipping the deities. So these are ways in which, and Grihasthas should always do sadhu sangha. Actually, the sadhus who are straightforward, without compromise, they speak the truth. Because those sadhus who honestly, transparently, Prabhupada was such a sadhu like that. He spoke like that because you don't fear to tell the truth. Some people fear, if I speak the truth, they will not give me donation. They should not fear like that. Speak the truth frankly. So sadhu, one of the meaning of the word sadhu means to cut our material attachments. So one should hear from honest and straightforward sadhus. So, and another thing is to give charity. Never hesitate to give charity. Some grihasthas say that, Prabhu, I think for a few years I will save, and after retirement, no, then I'm thinking of starting to give charity. But what the assurance we will live till then? That's not assurance. Today you are eating prasad, so today you give charity. So don't postpone it. Yeah. You are not going to eat after retirement. So one should regularly give charity, because giving charity reduces the burden of material attachments from your life. It's like somebody is taking away the bricks from your shoulder, giving charity. So many items I told you. Give charity, do sadhu sangha, earn the money honestly, and also worship the deities at home faithfully. Don't just delegate it to children. Do it yourself, faithfully, honestly. And also take up preaching programs, which will force you to impel you to study Prabhupada books. You will not be able to give time to WhatsApp and all chat and everything, because now you will be studying Prabhupada books, because you have to give classes like that. And also control the tongue in terms of speaking and eating. Control the tongue, maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. And also simplify everything. Simple food, simple dress, simple home. We don't need to be luxurious to show off to people how high society people we are. No need to show off. Even all those fellows who show off, they'll be gone one day. Nobody is going to permanently live in this world. Our permanent shelter is Krishna's lotus feet. So be convinced about that. These are some simple tips where one can easily evade entanglement in the material world, even while living in Grihastha Ashram. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki. Some of you may be getting late. Can I take 5 minutes? Question? No problem, no? So those devotees who have to go for some seva, you can carry on. I can answer some of these questions. So here devotee is saying, Prabhu, I have planned to join in 2 years. 1 year sister's marriage will happen. Then 1 year savings can be given to parents. But sister says she needs time to marry. How to deal with it? What I should do? I had the same problem also. I had 3 sisters. So 2 sisters were married. And the third one was not married. Or the third one was too young to marry. And if I wait, I may have to wait 4 or 5 years. So then I decided that I will join the ashram, and then later on I can help with marriage of the sister, help the father. That's what I did. If she want to delay, nowadays somehow or other, even the girls feel that they can marry at 28 or 30. They feel like that, you know. Actually, the Vedic marriage was early marriage. Early marriages are safe and it will protect our character also. But if she doesn't want to marry early, then you may have to join now and then. We allow even brahmacharis to go home for 1 week or 2 weeks also during marriage. Go and help out the father and mother to conduct the marriage and all. Okay. How to continue our determination of living a life of celibacy? We are all time bombarded with sensual things. How to maintain our consciousness? So the determination to live a life of celibacy will come from your thorough loyalty and honesty to the instructions of the spiritual master. So Prabhupada said, honest avoidance of opposite sex. So what is the meaning of honest avoidance of opposite sex? One should not do some golmal, like a trick, that cheating. His Holiness Jayadeva Swami says, it's like he says, passing stool inside the pant, he says. You know, you may pass inside, but the smell will come out. You cannot escape. So, of course, it's not my example. Maharaj said, I'm quoting it. So, this is called hypocrisy. So, if any brahmachari is a brahmachari in the ashram, but is not honest. So, very simple tips to be honest, I will tell you. Remember this PPFF formula. No private relationship with woman. There are so many girls who write mails to me, but I will always reply with one male member in CC. Either the girl's brother or father or mentor or my assistant. Somebody will be there in CC. So it's called as rule of three. As soon as a male and female have to interact, there has to be a third person. Rule of three. This is the first rule. Nothing private. As now people are asking, what about WhatsApp? No. If any Mataji writes me in WhatsApp, I will give her my email there. Say, please kindly write the email, and with my assistant's email also is here. This too, that's what you should write. So generally, women want to take shelter of sadhus and men because they feel if I tell another Mataji, she will put dama dama dama, everybody will come to know. They want some privacy to be kept. At the same time, I tell them that my assistant is very known to me. You have nothing to fear. But there should be rule of three should be followed. Nothing private. Secondly, nothing personal. Personal means what? Getting into their personal life, making phone calls and talking for hours together about their personal activities. No, sadhus have no business to deal into the private lives of women. Women are actually, Draupadi is saying, only a woman can know the heart of another woman. She says that. So a girl is best guided by her mentor, senior Mataji. But the senior Mataji should be mature. Because sometimes the girl is afraid that if I reveal this, senior Mataji will do Shakti Tandav or whatever. Because boys and girls in young age try to go overboard beyond the Lakshman Rekha sometimes. And they don't know whom to reveal and take help. So the seniors have to very maturely deal with them and help them. So, but a girl used to, generally girls, the mothers do this jata, you've seen that? They would do this. That takes time sometimes. I've seen my three sisters, when mother would be doing this for the hair, braiding the hair and everything. It will take 45 minutes, 1 hour. But that is the time mother and daughter relationship becomes very thick. They keep talking to each other and they get to know each other more. Nowadays people think, what is the need of braiding the hair? You just keep a short hair. But there is a meaning why they did what they did. In those days, there was Vedic life, there is always opportunity for the relatives to come together and develop closer relationships. So now this is avoid anything personal. We should keep Krishna in the center. For service sake, sometimes the male has to interact with the female for service sake, but it should be very curt in speech, short in speech, and one should not bring anything very personal. Like, for example, in the colleges also, sometimes a girl makes very good notes. The boy may take and xerox it so that it becomes easy for him. Yeah. But if he gets to her very personally, oh, your handwriting is beautiful, you are even more beautiful, then, then it's becoming personal. So nothing private, nothing personal. Third is F means frivolous. No frivolous talk. Frivolous talk is prajalpa. What is prajalpa? Talking about politics, talking about cinema actors, actresses, talking about sports stars, talking about taste. What do you like? I like this, you like that. It becomes a frivolous talk, nothing related to Krishna consciousness. Uh, like, for example, you are a preacher, you should talk about Krishna. Like if you get to frivolous talk, oh, you were wearing that dress, you looked more beautiful in that, instead of this dress. Who are you to talk about the dress? You are a spiritualist. Talk about Krishna. Don't get into frivolous talks, useless talks. And yeah, another F is familiar. One cannot become too familiar with opposite sex. Too much familiarity and intimacy will definitely pollute both the people's minds. Nowadays, in colleges also, many girls reveal their mind to boys. They say, I treat you like a brother. And he says, I treat you like a sister. And they even tie Rakhi also. And after 2 years, they change their mind, which is not good. If you treat somebody like a brother or a sister, then you cannot marry them. Same manner, there are sadhus who say that, oh, you are like my daughter and I don't mind. But then later on, he marries the daughter only. Like you can see, Brihanallah refused to marry who? Uttara, yeah. When he was asked, see, earlier you were a dance teacher, now we know you are Arjun. Can you marry my daughter? He said, a teacher cannot marry his student. Yeah. Like, you see, in the Vedic time, when, who is that Shantanu? Is it Shantanu or who is that? One girl came and sat on his right thigh. If a girl child is sitting on the right thigh, it's a daughter, you have to give in Kanyadan. If a girl is sitting on this thigh, that is your wife. Like if you see Sitaram, if you see, Sita will be sitting here. You have seen that? Huh? Huh? Lakshmi Narasimha also you'll see here. But a daughter sits this side. You have to give her in marriage to somebody. Similarly, if the girl becomes your student, she should be treated like a child. She's like your child, you are a father. If you are becoming intimate with her in a romantic way, then you will end up marrying her. That's a very great blemish. It's very bad. So therefore, even though a girl may be like a daughter, one should maintain the maryada. Mataji, we should call. We should call them as Mataji. And we should be following the code of conduct Lakshman Rekha. Both should follow. She should not come beyond a certain limit and he should not go beyond a certain limit. So that is familiarity. Over familiarity is no good. Like, for example, say, I'm a preacher going in a car. One girl says, Prabhu, I attend all your programs. I want to come in your car. You cannot take. People will say, hey, who is this going with you? People will ask. So we have a policy that when we are going in a car, same car, we don't want any young girls to come. One time, one brahmachari's grandmother had come to our Pune temple. She was like 84, completely all tooth gone. Like that she was there. And I told the devotees that she wanted to see the big temple, put her in the front. So driver was sitting and she was sitting. And I was sitting behind. One brahmachari said, Prabhuji, I cannot come. Mataji is there. I said, what Mataji? Don't be fanatical like that. She's an old lady here, holding a stick. She's a very skinny lady. So we should not fanatically apply the rule. Sometimes the brahmachari's mother may come, she may sit in the front, and other brahmachari may sit behind. That's all right. But the point is, you cannot have, like once Giriraj Maharaj was going, he was sitting in the front, and the back seat, 4 or 5 girls came and sat. And Maharaj saw, and then Maharaj got out of the car and told them, all of you get out, he said. Maharaj said, don't you have another car? Maharaj asked, Maharaj, we wanted your association. This is not, no, you come, you will get association in the class. When I am giving class in the other temple, you sit in another car. Where are the brahmacharis? Yeah. Go inside. So brahmacharis went inside and the Mataji sent them in another car. So he's following the norm of not becoming overly familiar because people will also criticize our society. If, same manner, if any Matajis want to take photo, we should take with Prabhujis also. Like I went to one temple. I gave a class. After the class, suddenly I saw they all came on all sides. Matajis. And one Mataji was ready to take a photo. I said, wait a minute. What is this? There are no Prabhujis here. Prabhuji was sitting down. I said, hey, come, you guys, you also stand. I said, one side Prabhuji's, one side Mataji's. That is more appropriate. If I take a photo only with Mataji's, it will be like Gopi Jana Vallabha, you know? Only Krishna can do that. No? Actually, sometimes in ISKCON, people don't know simple things. This is called as naive behavior. So don't become overly familiar. So you'll remember this PPFF formula. P, no private, nothing personal, no frivolous, no familiarity. So both should follow this. Both women and men should follow this. Then our society will be pure society. Yeah. So then you can maintain determination. See, if you keep butter in a fridge, even after 20 years, you take it out and bring it close to fire, it will definitely melt. So if somebody becomes overly familiar with one opposite sex member and talks for hours together, there was one brahmachari who was guiding one Mataji and her daughter. The Mataji was a widow. But then he started feeling too much sympathy for her that, she doesn't have money. So he said, I will collect some donations and give you. And temple said, hey, you should collect donations for the temple, not give it to Mataji. She can get help from other congregation people. You are not supposed. So because he was too much caring for her, finally ended up marrying her. Marrying, and then that daughter, he wanted to take care that she grows up and gets married and all that. So too much misplaced compassion is no good. It's clear? Then we can maintain our determination. What? When the soul leaves towards Goloka, what happens to the Chaitya Guru, Paramatma with him? No, when you move from the material plane to spiritual plane, there is another super soul in your heart, which is the Ishta Devata. Like Bahir Narsimha, Hriday Narsimha. So Narsimha will occupy the heart of Prahlad. Krishna will occupy the heart of Krishna's devotees. When you move from this plane. See, here Krishna's expansion is super soul is there. But when you go there directly, Krishna will occupy your heart. Is it wrong if a person gets suffering and then realizes the futility of this material world? So in this way, he cultivates spiritual knowledge and decides to renounce this world, choosing brahmacharya ashram. Actually, this is what Daksha Prajapati also said to Narada. He said that, Narada, you are asadhu, he said. Why? You have artificially induced renunciation in my sons. But look at me, I am a real sadhu, he said. Why? Because I entered into married life, I fulfilled all the dharma, artha, kama, moksha duties. And then he said that, Nanubhu yanajanati puman vishayati kshnatam nirvidyate swayam tasmad natata binnati parehi. He says that. He says, na anubhuya na janati. Anubhav kiye bina ek jeev samajh nahi paega. He has to get experience, compulsory, he says. And my sons without experience are getting into renounced order, it is useless, he said. And that purport Prabhupada is saying, when a woman is begetting a child in the maternity ward, she finds it's a very painful thing when a Mataji is begetting a child. When the child is upside down coming out, many Matajis will faint also when the child is coming. A lot of labor losses will happen and doctors will give certain things to nourish their body also subsequently. It's a painful thing it is. So after that, a lady says, enough now, one child I have now. No more child, she says. But 2 years later, again, she will come with another pregnancy. Like that Prabhupada says. Although she says she cannot give up again uniting and begetting another child, in the same manner, sense gratification frustrates you, burns you, but after some period of time, again you want to enjoy it. Is that correct or not? That's the nature of sense gratification. It's not that by experiencing you will give up. But along with that experience, one should follow the Guru's orders to practice spiritual life, and that will purify you, not the experience. The experience of frustration is not sufficient to take you back to Krishna. The experience of frustration is on one hand. On the other hand, you understand this is frustrating, I will follow Guru more and more. So as you follow Guru's order more and more, that component increases. And then eventually surrender. That's what happens. That's the right thing. If we studied in Premier College, how much savings of Lakshmi do you recommend? Yeah, generally, our formula is very simple. Parents should not suffer for food and clothing and shelter till their last breath. Your brahmachari should not join the ashram unless he has a confidence that the money that parents have, the money that I am giving, is enough for the parents till the last breath with respect to food, clothing, shelter. That is a very simple bottom line. One should ensure that. And if you have sisters, you have to make sure that the money is saved either by the parents or by you, and the sisters are married. And another thing, nowadays, the medical thing is very costly nowadays. If parents get some complicated disease which we don't want them to get, in case they get, there should be some medical money savings also for the parents. So you have to think of all these things before joining ashram. Prabhuji, if we compare brahmachari versus and grihastha life, grihasthas deal with child, brahmacharis deal with boys. Grihasthas manage home, brahmacharis manage boys. So activities are similar. So how to deal with disappointments which come in boys or brahmachari life? Especially when we have some bad experiences with dealings. See, a brahmachari in morning, he may get up, he may find that somebody has stolen his gamsha. But sometimes grihastha suddenly finds that daughter is eloped with another boy, which is more serious. So the second one is very serious because social, reputation is lost. They feel deeply pained. Our daughter has cheated us and things like that they feel. Whereas if you lost one gamsha, you can take another gamsha, not a big deal. Not a big problem. And with respect to cultivating boys, brahmachari should be very renounced. You should be pretty detached. You can give knowledge, provide facility to practice, then you should be detached. Not that you become too attached to the boy. Little vatsalya will be there, that's understandable. But not so much vatsalya that you become like Dhritarashtra. It's not allowed for brahmacharis to become, then you will micromanage also. Those who are too much attached, they micromanage their children like anything. Even for sneezing and coughing also, they'll take permission. We can't be like that. Then that means your mentality is more of grihastha mentality. In grihastha ashrama, parents very much worry about the children. So if you are going to worry about the wise boys so much, that's not very good. Krishna taught the whole Gita and said, Yatechasi. He is so detached, you can see that. Give the knowledge, provide the facilities, give him good association, and after that he has to fly his plane, you have to fly your plane. Yeah. And in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's sixth type of materialists, there are impersonalists, but they are Brahman worshippers and aren't they transcendentalists? See, whether they are Brahmavadis or Mayavadis, Vaishnavas don't associate with them, even if they are Brahmavadis, because Brahmavadis have no rasa. They are dry. They have no relationship. They want to, even though they know Krishna, still they want to go to Brahman. Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya yatantiye te brahma vidukritnam adhyatmam karma sakelam. He says, no? They take shelter of Krishna and say, my dear Lord, please post me in Brahman, I can relax. One of the impersonalists, they take shelter of the personality of Godhead to go to Brahman. Do you know that? And there are other Brahmavadis who become personalists also, like the Chatush Kumaras and Shivadeva Goswami and all. But the devotee has no interest in associating with the impersonalist because we want to hear Krishna Katha, we'll associate only with Vaishnavas. I'm thinking of joining Brahmacharya, but sometimes I feel difficulty to control hankerings. Then I feel doubtful about joining Brahmacharya. How to decide what to do? Very simple. It is not that boys don't have hankering, boys, girls, everybody has hankering. Are you acting on it? Like, for example, if somebody is watching porn regularly in the computer, he is not fit for Brahmacharya. Accidentally, he saw once and he regretted, and then he chanted 32 rounds instead of 16 rounds, and then he is more careful. Then eventually he'll get purified. But somebody is watching porn for hours and saying, I want to be brahmachari, is simply cheating himself because he just wants to run away from responsibilities in life. Actually, a person watching porn is not fit for grihastha ashram also. Because both the ashramas require responsible people. Responsible people. So, better you work on becoming more responsible, I would say. Control your senses, self-discipline yourself. And because even to enter grihastha ashram, One has to give shelter to a girl, huh? Who will depend on the husband. So if a man is not responsible, he won't bring money to home. He is not a provider, protector, guide. What kind of family will he run? He will be a nuisance to his wife also. Huh? So you first become responsible and then decide the ashram. In working life, corporate, if deadlines are strict, affecting our performance review, this disturbs our peace of mind. We get some guideline to change profession to online teaching, but it is also risky as less opportunities and lack of association in that field. How to take decisions in this junction when job is not stable? Okay. You see, if you have a teaching talent, you are not aware nowadays there are thousands of opportunities on internet to give you a demo. Huh? What type of teacher you are. I know devotees in Pune, 3 hours they teach and they are earning 60 to 80,000 monthly. Just 3 hours of teaching. Make sure that you have the talent to teach. Children should certify that you are a good teacher. Nowadays, if children don't certify you, they will not accept you because they have to make money also. The money they get from children. If you are a good teacher, children will say he's a good teacher, then you get money very easily. And if you don't have the talent, then you have to look for alternative. So your profession is demanding too much time. There are IT companies where the job load is not that much. Like in Pune, there is TTL, Tata Technology. If you see, people go at 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock they are back. There are jobs like that. So first you do a hard-working job, take some experience, maybe in 1 or 2 years, then you try to switch over to a job which will give you, it can afford time for your spiritual practice with that experience. But when you're coming out of the college as a fresher, it's difficult to get a cool job. You may have to slog for at least 1 or 2 years. To rise one's passion and ignorance, regulation is formula. To rise above, he's saying, okay. But our plans and regulations also get affected and steadiness doesn't come. How to come to steadiness quickly? Okay. You see, you should have love and respect for some senior, whose instructions you will take very seriously. Like in Pune, there is one devotee, Karnataka Prabhu. His council is send him sadhana card daily. So they have some 8 or 10 items. So he receives sadhana card from 70, 80 devotees. But then what he will do, if he finds somebody is regularly doing mistake, he will immediately the same day he will correct them. Otherwise, these boys will never fill up sadhana card for weekly once and all, they will not do. So daily do it now. Today what did you read Prabhupada's book? Today what time you completed chanting? Today what time you went to sleep? So then you need that type of somebody who can chase after you. Then you will become regulated. But you have to love that person naturally. You have affection and respect for that senior. When you take help of somebody, you will get help. Then regulation will easily come. How to maintain and increase mood to please Guru and Krishna in all services and activities. Actually, to pleasing Guru and Krishna is something which grows increasingly over time. In the beginning, like we saw His Grace Devamrit Prabhu in IIT in those days. So, very, very magnetic personality. The way he would speak the philosophy with such clarity, like a sun in the noontime in the sky. And absolutely no ambiguity. And his gentlemanly demeanor, behavior, and his qualities, personal qualities. So we were very charmed by his personality and his presentation. So all of you have to check in your life. You are certainly attracted to some Vaishnavas. So when that attraction is already present, you can develop it more. You develop more by hearing more and asking more questions and associating more. In Pune also, I tell the brahmacharis that if you have any special attraction to some sannyasis who visit Pune, you can even go to their temple, spend some time with them and serve them, render some service to them and ask them questions and learn. Because your heart is resonating with that personality. So take help, and then in this way you can grow with that association, and then what you're asking will happen. Can increase the more. Like one devotee wanted to serve His Holiness Bhakti Tir Damodar Maharaj. One of devotees was saying, Prabhu, he has service here, you want to leave and go. I said, see, If he has a longing, at least for a few months, if you want to go and serve, let him do that. Huh? Similarly, there is one devotee in Pune who is very fond of his own Shivaram Swami. Huh? So he wants to sell his books in Mayapur. Let him go for 15 days, no problem. Because if a jiva develops a longing for a great Vaishnava, we should give that opportunity for the jiva to grow his, devotion to Krishna more in that association. But it may not be practical always, because temples have their services and you may not be able to go often. But whenever some opportunity comes, one can keep in touch, one can hear. Hearing is a very powerful connection, sound vibration, because oral reception that wakes up the sleeping soul very, very powerfully. That you can hear, even online you can hear, you can YouTube, you can hear many of them, especially those with whom your heart is resonating. They are the Shiksha Gurus actually. So what is sin for a devotee? As devotee knows injunctions of Shastras well, isn't it sins or offenses as we repeat every day, the seventh offense? See, when it becomes sin, a devotee oftentimes gives up Krishna consciousness. And when he goes out, he is no more a proper devotee, he has become covered over. Then what he commits is not offense, it becomes sin. Because he is ignorant now. And he is no more a proper devotee. Later on, he will get kicks from Maya and then come to senses. How should one choose the devotee from whom one should hear? What is the purpose of hearing from such a devotee? First thing, every day, all devotees in ISKCON should at least hear 20 minutes or half an hour of Prabhupada. He is our Shiksha Guru, preeminent Shiksha Guru. Without hearing him, you cannot hear from different people. First, you have to hear from him. You can hear more than half an hour if you can, but minimum 20 minutes at least. Then the next person important for you is your own spiritual master. One should definitely hear from him. At least in a week, if you hear 2 lectures, for example, each 1.5 hours each, you hear about 3 hours. It becomes daily, it becomes also almost 20 minutes, correct? No? You're hearing that. Then after you do this basic thing, then there are many, many people giving Shiksha. You can find out whose Shiksha is helping me to better elaborate the instructions of Prabhupada and my spiritual master. So whose sound vibration is helping me? So that's how you find. When you hear multiple speakers, different people like different speakers' style of presentation. So whichever style suits you, and you can also check with your spiritual master. Can I hear from this person? Is he authentic? If you don't know, you cannot hear from anybody. Like some people are asking, Prabhu, can we hear from other sampradayas? Sri Sampradaya, there's some very great speaker. See, if you are very, very senior, then you may be able to hear and extract what you need and benefit. But if you are young, you are likely to gravitate more towards that. And you may start hearing 100 hours, 200 hours, 500 hours, here. Tomorrow in your lecture, everything you will download from there. And people will ask you, where is this coming from? And then you are quoting that authority. Whereas when you are very advanced, like a Saragrahi, you can pick up some from great acharyas in different parampara, you can do. Therefore, those who are young, it's better that they stick to the ISKCON inspiration from the senior devotees, and then within that they find out shelter. If parents having some big contacts, we want to join, what is the best way to deal? Big people get involved, but we want to be determined. Even if superiors tell, we don't feel convinced. You see, first of all, you should be convinced about your dedicating life. Parents, relatives, world and all comes later. Because if parents see that, oh, even at home, my son is rising early in the morning, 3 o'clock, and he's chanting, he's reading, he's like a mini Tukaram at home. Then parents also say, what kind of marriage this fellow will do? He won't be successful. The girl who marries him will be in trouble. Because he has no interest in anything worldly. He is reading, writing, preaching, and he has made the home into a temple. He's bringing so many people to home, and mother has to cook and give them prasad. One Mataji was telling, Prabhuji, we told him to stay at home, but he's bringing 40 people every day. She said, better he take him to temple only. On the other hand, if some boy is, seeing that he's getting up at 8 o'clock at home, the morning, and he doesn't know where is his japamala kept, you know, and he's also reading newspaper and watching. Then parents say, better get married. Huh? What natak are you doing that you want to be a sadhu? You don't show any symptoms of a sadhu. See, my father had told me in my school days that later on, when you finish your degree, you can join, he had told. So I used to sit in my father's business shop. So I told my father, see, this doesn't delight me, counting money, you know, meeting the customers and also collecting rent from 15 houses, what kind of work is this? I'm not. And father agreed actually. He said, yes, it's true. Your inclination is more Brahminical. You're not interested in these things, and I will not pressurize you. Let your sisters get married, after that you can join. He was a gentleman. Huh? So he allowed me to join. In fact, he convinced my mother also. He told her, see, this is what he likes, and we are seeing that this is his interest also. He can't do business and he's not inclined in that. Let him do it. Huh? So you have to show symptoms. Then when I feel when I feel hankering, I feel Grihastha ashram is better. When I think about difficulties in Grihastha ashram, I feel Brahmacharya ashram is better. What should be the basis of choosing ashram? The basis of choosing any ashram is duty. What is my duty? That's what you should ask. See, I'll tell you a simple example. See, on Ekadashi day, you want to do Nirjal. So you are doing Nirjal. But then, when you are chanting in temple hall, you feel, let me go and see in the kitchen what prasad they made today. You're going there. And all devotees are eating sabudana vada. They're eating crispy. Then your mind is singing, oh, this is my most favorite item. And I am trying to do Nirjal today. Then you come back to the temple and are sitting. And even you look at the deities, the cheeks look like sabudana vada. Wherever you turn around, sabudana vada is appearing in your mind. Is it better that you go to the kitchen, eat 4 or 8 sabudana vadas, wash your hands and mouth. Now you sit and chant, you can chant nicely. Similarly, if a boy is saying that, I am feeling too much hankering for the opposite sex, actually there is nothing in man-woman relationship. That they will realize very quickly once they get a couple of children and raise them. They will see that, the charm that we feel is very, very superficial. It's superficial. Because ultimately all the bodies are bodies. He says that, Prahlad Maharaj says, these bodies of disease. How can one diseased body desire to enjoy another diseased body? He says, Rujam, he says. So, but if you can't get that realization as a celibate, you better that you accept the duty of the Grihastha ashrama, and you dutifully execute your duties. Both the husband and wife can be very happy. My Guru Maharaj used to say, between the couple, there should be divine couple. That means between husband and wife, you put divine couple. That husband and wife will be as happy as brahmachari or sannyasi. There was one couple wrote to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, my wife has given me permission to take sannyas. And therefore, I am writing to you, and she is also here right next to me, and she has permitted me to take sannyas. So I want to ask you, when can I take sannyas? You know what Prabhupada wrote? He said, you and your wife are doing the work of 100 sannyasis. Prabhupada said, why should I renounce now? There's no need. You both are super enthusiastic. You are running a whole temple with such a big community. You are doing very well. There's no need of sannyas, just continue, Prabhupada said. So which means that there are couples who are so Krishna conscious. It's not that Grihastha ashram is always miserable. What causes misery is our bhogavritti, propensity for sense gratification. In Brahmacharya ashram also, if you are iti uti dhai, that's a verse, no? What is that verse? Shivara lalasai iti uti dhai shishnodara parayana Krishna nahi pai. He is not Narayana parayana, he is Krishna udara parayana. He is simply tongue, belly, genitals. He wants to satisfy them. Such a brahmachari is bogus. He will never be happy. There are brahmacharis like that who are miserable fellows. They can't be happy. So what causes misery is the propensity for sense gratification. How to be completely absorbed in Krishna's guna, leela, rupa. I try, but again when office distress comes, frustration starts. I just want to please Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas, but always I fail. In weekends, I feel I am free from all miseries. But again, office starts and distress starts. I am not able to understand what is good for me, not able to take correct decision. Yeah, actually, after living with devotees and chanting, dancing, and feasting, which is resembling the spiritual world, when you go to office, there is boss and there are deadlines and there hard work to be done. It is a little painful, undoubtedly. Yeah. But you should be fixed in duty. Huh? One should be stick there. So Iswala Giriraj Maharaj gave a 3-point formula. All of you can repeat it. Huh? He said, tolerate reversals externally, remain cheerful internally, stay fixed in your duty. If you do these three things, you won't be miserable like this. Huh? That means tolerate reversals externally. Huh? So reversals means troubles will come. Who doesn't have trouble, tell me? A mother with a small baby, so much trouble. Huh? Child gets up in the middle of the night, she has trouble. A man going to office has to face various other difficulties. A student who has to carry bag of books to study. Engineering, you have to study 50 papers. Material world is a miserable place. It's not only miserable for you. Huh? Tolerate reversals externally and then remain cheerful internally. Why remain cheerful internally? Because you have become Krishna conscious. You are living with devotees. You got the right path. So be happy. Don't be frustrated. And stay fixed in your duty. Whatever duties have to be done, do it. You only have to do it. If office ends at 10 p.m., we come back at 11 p.m. I am able to get up. Should we change job? As in long run, it will be a problem in health. Or you should not get up. Why do you get up early? If you are sleeping at 11 p.m., you have to get up at 5 p.m. only, 5 or 5:36 only. It is not good for you to get up at 4. It's very bad for your health in the long run. Then you can stay near the temple. Don't stay in the temple or in the voice. Stay nearby. Get up at 5, 5:30 and come for chanting. And then that's what you have to do. If you are sleeping at 11, 6 hours of sleep is required. You cannot. Or else you switch over to another job where you can sleep before 10. 10 to 4 is ideal. 9 to 3 is most ideal. 9 to 3 sleeping. We cannot do 9 to 3 or 9:30 to 3:30. Worst come worst, it is 10 to 4 is good. But beyond 10, actually 10 to 11, if you don't sleep, the sleep also goes away. It's not very effective. After 11, it's not very effective. You should look for a job which can provide you day shift properly. I'm trying my best, but not able to improve my chanting. I always sleep by 9 to 9:30 p.m. and wake up also by 4. Still, I feel so sleepy in chanting and dozing. I just want to chant to please Krishna, but unable. My diet is also regulated. Sometimes I overeat. That sometimes I don't know how many times I don't know. If somebody says sometimes it's every day, I overeat, but usually regulated, I always repent. See, there are also diseases in the belly. Prabhupada says there is one disease called colitis in the belly that produces gases which go and cloud the head, you feel drowsy. So there is, and also people have pitta, kapha, and vata vishaya. So people who have a pitta body also and vata body also, they have a lot of troubles. So you can go to a doctor and check, especially Ayurvedic doctor. Sir, I don't know, I feel oversleepy. Or you can sleep even more early. You sleep 7 hours. 7 hours means you have to sleep early, not get up early and get up late. Like sleep at 8:30 and get up at 3:30. How much it comes? 7 hours, yeah. Or even, because some people's bodies require more sleep. Or meet Ayurvedic doctor, that will be helpful. Sometimes, even though getting constant exposure of devotional service and rightly situated in process, anarthas troubles us, then we get into inferiority complex, thinking like I am useless. What to do in that situation? How to overcome it? See, every conditioned soul, sometime or other faces this inside anarthas. You see somebody flourishing in life, and then you make some comparison, and you feel I am good for nothing. Therefore, you should regularly read Shastra and hear. For example, one one Guruji told the three disciples to go and get this, what do you call it? A jackfruit tree leaf, dry leaves. So they went and came back empty hand. One disciple said the dry leaves were collected by one lady who was making a leaf plate and selling. So she said one leaf plate is 1 rupee. I didn't have any money. I came back with empty hand, he said. Another disciple said one man was crushing these leaves and making some medicinal herb. Huh? So he said that you have to pay for these leaves. I didn't have money. I came. Third fellow said one place one man had to put a heap of dry leaves of jackfruit tree. He was using it as a fuel in the furnace. Huh? He said, if you want 1 kilo, you have to pay so much. Then the Guru said, even a dry leaf is not useless. How can you be useless? Huh? He asked this question and that hit them so hard. Huh? I am a human being. I have so many faculties of knowledge, you know. So when you hear this kind of thing, yesterday the girls were there. I was telling one story. One Gurukul boy was, asked to quit the Gurukul because of his lethargy. So Guru said, you are not making any progress. Better go home. So on the way back, he saw one Mataji was drawing well water from the ground. In those days, in the ground, they will have a stone formation like this. And that stone was getting abraded by the movement of the ropes. Huh? So this boy was amazed. Rope is soft, stone is hard, but the rope is making a dent in the marking into this thing. Immediately went back to Guru and said, I saw this. Guru asked him, what did you learn? He said, that means by repeated practice, we can form an impression. So Guruji, I was a little lazy before. Give me one more chance, he said. Guru said, okay, so be it. Because you are requesting, I will allow you. And that Gurukul boy went on to become Kalidas. Huh? He is the Kalidas who wrote Kumar Sambhavanda. So in this way, the so-called useless Kalidas useless Gurukul boy became Kalidas. So you have to hear such stories that then you can give up your inferiority complex. If you're feeling lonely, then identify who are the devotees who are a little affectionate to you. They talk to you. Go and spend time with them, discussing with them, take prasad with them, dance with them, sing with them. Then you'll not feel lonely. If you're feeling moody because somebody harshly spoke to you, you feel as if you are slapped. He didn't slap you, but mentally you got slapped. Huh? You are feeling very moody and you are not able to do any work. Constantly the revengeful thoughts are coming in the mind. Go and reveal to your senior and say, Prabhuji, I'm feeling bad thoughts towards the devotee, what to do. That's what Dhruva did with Suniti. Correct, na? And then he got a solution. Huh? So, in Kanya, in Kamya Karma, is Kamya Karma not bad? Is it Maya? Example, Mridanga learning, or hearing your lectures more, etc. Actually, this is not bad. Why is Kamya Karma bad? Because Kamya Karma means pleasurable activities which are within the fold of devotional service. They are not Maya. We are not saying, Kamya Karma means you can go and do some sinful activity. It's not sinful activity. It is within the purview of Krishna consciousness. If individually we see other services remains late night, we would like to extend, but our morning program gets affected. Or sometimes our own service is remaining and we want to take rest early. If not, then authorities are disturbed. What is the right thing to do in such scenarios? How often it is okay to extend? So what I do generally, if some work is remaining at 9:30, I sleep at 9:30 and get up at 3. I didn't even sleep 6 hours. I slept only 5.5. Still I can be fresh. Whatever work is pending in the night, I'll do it in the morning. The reason I'm telling you, 10 to 2 is the main sleep. Many scientists say that 4 hours sleep only is enough for you. Even 10 to 2 also. And there are people who sleep only 4 hours also. Like Prabhupada would sleep at 10 and get up at 1 o'clock or something like that. So, and then daytime he would take 15-20 minutes rest. And he was going on and on, like that. So 10 to 2 is the most vital thing. I have personal experience that after 2 hours sleep is not very effective. It gradually starts, going down after that. So I would suggest that sleep before 10 and do that work in the morning, early morning. And then mind has 3 functions, thinking, feeling, willing. How can we harness them so that we can always choose Shreyas and not Preyas? Like when you are chanting in the beginning, think about the glories of the holy name. Like for example, if you want to know glories of holy name, read the Vishnu Duta's verses. Many, many, many nice verses are there. Vishnu Duta speaking. read the glories, and then we feel like the second verse of Shikshashtakam. What is that? Durdaiva, Yedrisham, Nanuraga, Ayinanda Tanajakinkaram. This is feeling. And willing, make sure that when you are chanting, in one mantra, you move only one bead only, not multiple beads. Sometimes Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Oh, how everything is over in 2 minutes, you wonder. So in this way, thinking, feeling, willing should be engaged during chanting. And during the day, never keep the mind empty. Have very clearly laid out activities for the day. What will I do in the morning? What will I do in the afternoon, in the evening, for this week, this month, for this 1 year? Plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, it is said. If your mind is always having enough things to do in relation to Krishna consciousness, mind has no room for Maya at all. Last question. I am staying in voice, working in good company and preaching nicely. I feel I can go on like this without getting married and without joining Brahmachari ashram. Is it okay? See, it is not okay. I will tell you why it is not okay. Because if you are making money and going to company and coming, there is always a danger of falling prey to illicit sex. As your age goes, because the hormones are secreting in the body and there are sexual urges there in everybody. If you are in brahmachari, the other brahmacharis are watchdogs. You can't do any nonsense living in the ashram. Even if somebody is found to be talking to some woman for a little longer time, the complaints will go. That why is he talking so much? Or if you are married, then your wife becomes a police for you. Wife will check your phone, whom is he talking to? And also wife will see, why is he interested in that girl so much? And many wives chastise also husbands, very honestly, without fear. So husband is protected by that. Because sometimes a man, even though he's married to a woman, he is flirting with another girl. The wife says, why are you talking so long to her? It's not proper for you. What will people think about you? So in this way, he is protected in married life. He is protected in brahmachari life. But when you are neither married nor a brahmachari, you are neither brahmachari nor grihastha, brahmastha. That is simply a cheating. It's not a proper ashram. Somebody quotes Bhishma Pitama. But what is Bhishma Pitama's standard? He is one of the 8 Vasus. Plus, he is in Virya Rasa with the Lord. Even in the battlefield, he is exchanging love with Krishna. Can you do that? Are you in so much love with Krishna? We are in so much love with so much Maya in this world. So don't try to imitate great souls. So it is, actually, if you don't want to join ashram, by default, you need marriage. But then first to become qualified to marry also. Become eligible, take proper guidance from grihasthas, those who are nicely situated, become capable. What I tell the boys who ask this question, go to a dozen good grihasthas and conduct an interview for 4 or 5 questions I give them. By the time they finish 3 or 4 grihasthas, they say, Prabhuji, now I am ready now. Now I can marry now. They develop more confidence to marry after talking to nice grihasthas. Because they are in touch with brahmacharis, they develop some phobia for marriage sometimes. But after meeting some grihasthas, they go to home. They go to home and say, oh, this grihastha is super serious. They are so sincere. I can also make it. They develop confidence. So my suggestion to this devotee is that only. So one boy was saying, Prabhuji, why are you pushing me into Andhakopam? One boy was writing to me. I said, why do you call it Andhakopam? It's Andhakopam for those who are not Krishna conscious. If you're Krishna conscious, the Grihasashrama, Grihetako Vanetako is said in the song. So one can be a very powerful Grihastha like Ambarish Maharaj or like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Prabhupada was perfect in all the orders. He was a perfect Grihastha, then he was later on perfect sannyasi. So I have taken a lot of your time. So many questions today. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki. Thank you much.
Hare Krishna. So we thank Prabhuji for
Bhaktivinoda Prabhu.